Hey Vanner family. So I wanted to assure all of you who thought my MacGyver'd heater / cooking would get me killed. I want to show you what I ended up doing, and it only cost me about $25. So as you know, I went ahead and bought this 1-burner propane cooktop. If you follow my social media, or if you look at the community tab here on YouTube, you would have seen the post with me showing 2 different variations of how I could use this, not only as a cooktop, but as a heat source at night while I am sleeping, because it's getting really cold here at night. Makes me wish I had never gotten rid of my Wave 3 heater, but it is what it is. So my regular gas 1 dual fuel cooktop just died on me. And it's the one that came with the van, so I don't know if maybe it was just on its last leg or what the issue was. Maybe I just burnt it out, who knows. But so I went to Walmart and got this cooktop. Now this cooktop only comes with the top, and it comes with the base. It does not come with the green canister. The green canisters you can buy at Walmart, a 2-pack for $6 something. So it was, I think, $18 for the cooktop, and I've ordered a new cheapest dual fuel cooktop from Amazon, but it's going to take about 5 days for it to get here. I don't know why it's going to take so long. I have Prime, so I don't understand why it's going to take so long to get here, but they said between the 5th and the 6th. I guess with holiday, maybe, I don't know. So I'm waiting for that to come. But for those several days, I need a way to keep warm because, again, it's getting much colder here at night. So I took this cooktop, and I'm going to set up the tripod, and I'm going to show you how I have it down on the floor at night last night. And I used it all night last night on the lowest low, and I slept very well. I'm a very light sleeper anyway, so I was up several times just looking at it, peeking at it, making sure it didn't move or tip over or look like it was going to do anything weird. So it was fine last night. So I'm going to set up the tripod, put the cell phone on there, and show you how I have it down on the floor, because I don't like my heat source up here on the counter because the heat rises anyway, so that's not going to help me. I like my heat source down on the floor so that it comes back in the back to the bed area and everything, and it kind of, you know, makes me warm before it starts rising, because the floor is very cold. Okay, so as you can see, I have my 20-gallon propane tank here, and I was sitting my gas 1 dual fuel cooktop right here anyway, with this gas 1 wind screen around it. So that was already in play the last couple of months, or the past month, when I use it as a heater anyway. So again, this is the way that this is supposed to be used as a cooktop, and that's how I use it on my counter as a cooktop yesterday and today. But this unscrews, obviously, because you need to change the canister when you run out of fuel. So that comes off. So what I was trying to figure out was, how can I use just this with my 20-pound propane tank, because it sits on the green canister, and that's what makes the actual, that's what props it up. So I was trying to figure out, how can I prop this up on the floor level without the whole green canister tippy-toppy thing happening. So I walked around Walmart after getting this in the camping section, and I found this colander. And I said, is there a way, if I could sit this on this colander and run my hose into this colander to get to the bottom, how can I do that? So basically, I drilled a small hole with my drill, big enough to get my 10 snips in, and it's not pretty, but it'll do temporarily. And then I just snipped and bent back the sharper edges so that my hose could go through that. So my hose goes through this hole into the bottom of here. So I'm going to do that now without cutting myself. And the other issue is that the knob to turn the gas up and down is also down here underneath the plate. So I needed a way to access that as well. So what I ended up doing was basically keeping it tipped just a little. Like I said, I had this going last night and I didn't have any issues whatsoever. So once I get it lit and set up, then I just kind of maneuvered it down a little further into the, whatchamacallit, the colander, so that it didn't tip over. So I'm going to turn the gas on very low. And thank you to Miss K for this cool rechargeable lighter. I don't have to buy a lighter again unless this stops working. But this is a way to light gas. So then you turn the gas on low here. You can hear it come on. There it is, all lit up. And I kept it on really low all night and had no issues. I was warm enough without being too warm because I didn't want to risk having too much gas flame come out of this with it tipped like this. It's not able to sit completely flat on the colander because the way the hose is. And I didn't want to bend my hose, you know, and have that. That's going to be an issue. That's going to be a fire hazard. So I kept it on extremely low like this, had it pointing, you know, I had it turned just a little so it was kind of going down the aisle towards the back. And I slept very comfortably all night. I did get cool when that temperature dropped around that 2-3 a.m. mark, but I just kind of buried myself further down into the covers and I was fine. Yeah, so this will work for the next few nights, few days, until I wait for my actual dual fuel cooktop to come. And then I'll be back to my normal situation. I did save the box for this, so I think I'm going to box it up and stick it in a corner under my bed, because it's always good to have another, you know, source of heat and cooking if something happens. So this way I won't ever have to buy this again if that happens again. I considered keeping this cooktop, this little one burner cooktop. I actually have considered drilling a hole here and sitting it down in here. And when I get the smaller 11-pound propane tank, dropping it underneath my counter, because there's a space back there that smaller tank would fit in, and running a hose under the sink. As you can see, I got my shears. I decided on a gray shear instead of a red, because the red was dark. I did buy it and put it in, and the red was much darker red, and it kind of clashed with my bright red rug here and my bright red bag holder. I thought the gray would look better, you know, coming from the silver stainless steel top to gray. The red still, even though it was sheer, the red still made my eyes stop. It was like too much. It was just too much of a color right there. I like the gray. You can see through it, but it gives me a little bit of coverage to kind of camouflage a little bit of that stuff. Anyway, back on the side of the fridge here, can't really see it but back there is enough space to put the canister. That's back where I used to have the gray tank, and now the gray tank's on this side, so I have space back there for the gray tanks on this side, so there's space back there for a canister. That 11-pound tank is a little bit taller and slimmer, so I think it could fit back there. So I'm still toying with that idea. I'm afraid to make a hole in my cooktop. I mean, in my countertop, because that is permanent. So I'm like, do I really want to do that? I don't know if I want to do that. So I'm debating about making that hole and dropping that 1-burner tank right in there and seeing what happens. Maybe I could make a small platform somehow, put magnets on it so that it magnetizes to this, and then put the cooktop into that. Maybe that would be better, and see if I like it before making a permanent hole into this. So there's so many different options I could have. But it would be cool to have a cooktop here, and then at some point, get a small propane heater that I use just as a heater. Because I always have to go back and forth with my cooktop. Not that I mind. I just put it on the floor at night for heat, bring it up here in the morning for making hot water for oatmeal or any kind of cooking. So it's not that I mind. It would just be nice to have 2 permanent situations where I don't have to swap back and forth. So those are just a couple of things I'm kind of toying with. Maybe making a platform up there. Maybe just drilling the hole. I don't know. Just little ideas that pop in my head. But if I think about it, if I make this permanent kind of a cooktop situation here, then that means if I get a heater, or if I use the dual burner flat square cooktop, which I'll put a picture of it here, the one I ordered. If I make that my permanent heater connected to the 20-pound, it doesn't make sense to keep the 20-pound here and the 11 back there. You know what I'm saying? Also, then I have to store this cooktop when it's not in use, you know, so in a way it kind of doesn't make sense, but it just popped in my head. Oh, I can make this 1-burner cooktop work over here. So we'll see what I decide to do. I'm toying more with just going back to what I was doing, which is using the dual fuel flat square cooktop back and forth on the floor at night for heat, on the counter during the day for cooking. That just makes more sense to me. But I will keep this 1-burner cooktop because it's good to have that backup. Like I said, I'll just box it up and tuck it. I do have a small space in the bed in the back area that I don't need to access regularly. I'll just use that as my backup cooktop. If something ever like this happens again, I don't have to go buy this again. I'll have my own back in the back there. So anyway, I'm safe. I'm still alive. And I have a way to keep warm until the other cooktop comes. Thanks for watching, guys. Mwah! I'll see you next time.
Check out the journey from day 1 through now, or check out one of the other playlists available. Thanks for watching.